Welcome back, everyone, to some more Heroes Adventure news. In particular, it has been almost 2 years since the full version release of Heroes Adventure, and as a result, we got a new announcement alongside some FAQ for the spin off. So let's jump right in. First up, we are grateful that you chose to step into this world we created, and we are celebrating our second anniversary since the full release. If you include the early access portion, it's more like 3 years, but still. As a result, the developers are offering a 50% discount starting November 16th, and it's running for 2 weeks. They are also hosting another giveaway on their Twitter/X account. And to be honest, a 50% discount is quite solid. The game itself, I would say, is quite cheap on its own, and with that, it would be even cheaper. But now let us jump into the interesting portion, in my opinion, in this announcement, the FAQ. First up, will the spin off release in early access? The answer is no, it will be a direct full version. They are trying to push out a direct full version this time in order to not have to deal with the back and forth between player opinion, developer opinion, etc. And I myself have quite a bit of faith in them. We have seen what they can put out with Heroes Adventure itself, and I trust the new Heroes Adventure, or rather another Heroes Adventure, will have the same detail, the same quality. Of course, an early access portion would have been nice. It would have been nice to play this game even sooner than before, but it is like that. Maybe some people can get an early access key, who knows? Nothing is clear in that front yet. But yeah, no early access. This does mean for the mobile version it could get a bit weirder, since previously the release cycle was first early access, then you have the full version release for the PC, and then a year after or so you had a mobile version release. And now I am not certain in how they are going to address this. Will they be pushing out a mobile and a PC version at the same time? Who knows? Next up is the IP, the the intellectual property still secure? And the answer is yes. When setting up their new studio, that was their main concern. Secondly, and this is a more conflicting statement in my opinion, the second half of the sentence, while the original game will continue to be maintained, which, by the way, good thing, I like it. The original game could still use some polishing, maybe some additional factions you can join, maybe include some additional map locations on the desert area, the southwest, etc. That is something I'm still looking forward to. But let's address the elephant in the room now. The mobile version will keep supporting mods. And any of our mobile players will immediately look confused, because currently the mobile version, at least the international version, does not support mods at all. What does support mods is the Chinese version via TapTap. And if you're wondering, to play that version, you need either a Chinese ID or a Chinese telephone number and a social security number, I'm quite certain. So it's not that easy for international players to use the TapTap version. And even if you can play the TapTap version, not all mods work on there. Ones that are ported from, by the developers from the PC version to the mobile version. So it's just a few select amount. I believe there are only less than 100 for the mobile version right now, which is in comparison to the current Steam workshop with 1,800, a slight amount only. Now, we can take for granted that almost half of these Steam Workshop ones are duplicates of one another, so the total amount does shrink, but what I'm just trying to get at is the mobile version is not fully supported. And if they keep supporting mods, it's basically meaning they are porting more mods from the Steam Workshop to the mobile version. But why are they mentioning it in the international post when international players do not have access at all to mods? Who knows? I did contact a mod on the Discord regarding this issue, and I'm still waiting for a reply. So maybe we can get some information on this. Maybe in the future we do have some support. Who knows? Now, regarding some spin-off content is how does it connect to the original story? First up, it takes place decades after the original in a new era. I don't know how literal we should take the word decades, seeing that you can play through the whole game, becoming an emperor yourself, becoming Peak of Jianghu, doing all kinds of side quests, marrying a 20 women, harem, etc. in less than a year. But it's just saying it's going to be a brand new story, a brand new world. They are mentioning how a few factions might still leave traces, but most have faded into history. And that could be a very cool point to adapt in that they include some references. For example, currently in the game, in the southwest region, we have that one cliff event, and they could include something very similar in the new game and just like create a slight reference. Furthermore, there are some player theories already of how some characters are descendants of other characters in the current story, and that could be cool to adapt. And now the last question is regarding the art style. Will the new game be different visually? And the answer is yes, they have made some noticeable changes, but currently their main priority is the game content itself. And once that is complete, they'll look into the art direction, etc. And now to close it all off, we got some data sheets for two of the characters, so we can look at them as well. And now we can look at the data sheets, and I do have translations for them, so let's go through them. First up, the character in the yellow dress, Lu Xiaoling is her name. That being said, I don't recall any important character called Lu in the original story. We do have the general and his son, but in most cases they die, so I doubt it's going to be a descendant of them. Next up, let's start with her cosmetics. We have a headband ornament and what it is based off. And here at least we can see a clear resemblance. Quite cool that they actually post the images what they base it off. Secondly, we have a mechanical bird, and you can see how it's made out of wood and what it is based off. Then a confusing one, at least to me, maybe anyone who knows more Chinese has a clue what this is actually supposed to be, but it's a skill symbolizing tool pouch. I'm not certain what exactly it's supposed to symbolize. Maybe it's just called like that because she has a hammer and a chisel in this like tool band. Could be. And lastly, right here we have her favorite item, her favorite snack, which is a tanghulu, one of those candied hawthorn sticks. Besides that, we also have some drafts and rough sketches. So you can see them right here, these 8 different ones. They all look very similar. I would not say they differ too much, like maybe slightly in terms of the dress and how it's cut, but it's very nice to see. Furthermore, we also have a set of facial expressions. So going through them, I would say she's pouting right here, she's angry, she's crying, she's sad, she's joyful, she is blushing, she is exclaiming, she is shy, a bit weirded out, I'd say, up here, and then lastly, hurt. And then the last section, which is action description. And what does action description actually mean? When we start with the first one, you'll quickly realize it's the victory animation. So once you win a battle, what is her like action which she does? And the answer is her toes are turning inward, she's leaning forward and making a funny face. And in my opinion, this at least fits her character. To me, she looks like a cheerful, playful, somewhat coquettish girl, and it's just like fitting that she makes a funny face at the end of the fight. Yeah. The next animation is her idle animation, and in her idle animation, she's taking out her tranghulu, this candied hawthorn skewer, and taking a bite from it. Quite simple, still cool. And lastly, her sitting pose, which I find very intriguing. It's her hands are placed on her knees and she's looking very well behaved, which is in stark contrast to this like cheerful, coquettish aura she has. Then another thing I wanted to address, I don't know if it's just me, but first up, this is her in-game sprite. And to me, her in-game sprite looks weird, especially this right leg, so we can see it on the left. I don't know, it just looks too straight and somehow doesn't line up. Like, okay, we do not see any of her legs really, like you can only see a slight glimpse of it. But I don't know if it's just me, but this does not look right to me. But this is Lu Shaoling. And then we can go to the other character, Shen Qianqian. We have seen a bit more of her. And right here, you can see some concept sketches. Quite bizarrely, she does have a whip in some of her sketches, a sword in others. So right here in the animations, you can also see her wielding a sword, which begs the question is, where is her sword? Like this is her actual art style, and she's wielding a whip, but I don't see any sword. Or does the whip turn into a sword? I'm not certain. But you can see some like slight versions of how her dress altered. This to me looks more like a bra, so I'm glad they do not have this bra look going anymore. But yeah, her in-game character looks a lot better, especially the legs. They have more pixels. I don't know. Look at it. Easily 3 or 4 pixels, and you have a single pixel for the leg. Yeah. To go through her expressions, first up we have cheerful, joyful as the first one, then sad, I guess also pouting, injured, angry, all bet this one is angry, I'm not certain. Okay, these two look very much alike. I'm not too certain about this one. Then blushing as the last one and slightly tearful as the second last. Wait, did she have cat ears? What is this? Is this supposed to be a cat ear? No way. I just realized that. And lastly, her animations. The victory animation is spinning her sword, then sheathing her sword and turning sideways to look cooler. And to be honest, the sheathing the sword very much reminds me of Zorro with his lion swords. I'm not the biggest One Piece fan. I don't know what it's called, lion sword art, where he sheaths his sword and then cuts through an enemy. Very cool. If they do something like that, even cooler. Her idle animation is taking out her braid, combing it twice and then putting it away, so combing her hair, quite simple. And her sitting pose is sitting with her hands crossed. Nothing special, but those are the two datasheets. And if you'd like to follow the development updates, feel free to join our Discord. And with that, I believe I have covered all of the news. So guys, make sure to like and subscribe to follow more of the news, and see you guys next time.